What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Love and Marriage Huntsville, the reunion part 3. And we are done with the reunion, and we are done with season 3. All right, you guys. So, once again with the reunion, I definitely want to give a kudos to Carlos King. Carlos did a phenomenal job hosting this reunion. Carlos asked good questions and even let the cast interact with each other. Y'all know how Andrew does. Andrew will stop you in a minute. We're moving on. We're moving on. So y'all know how Andrew Cohen is. But Carlos didn't do that. And I was appreciative of that. Really, really was appreciative of it. So before we go ahead and get into the review, guys, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys are not yet subscribed to the channel, then I'm going to need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. Hit that like button, turn your notifications on, share the video, you guys. And with that out the way, you guys, without further ado, let's discuss Love and Marriage Huntsville, the reunion, part 3. All right, you guys. So before we go ahead and get into the reunion, let's just go ahead and just talk about the tea that has been spilling ever since last Saturday part 2 reunion. So last Sunday, I don't know what I was out and about, right? And I got a DM on Instagram from fellow subscriber Tracy, right? So Tracy laced me with all the tea that was going on, and it was from Arian Curry. So Arian Curry must somehow got a bug up her ass last Sunday, I guess, right? It's the Arian in her mouth is just weird how it's shaped, and then her hair. And then I was looking at the comments about when she was on live, because somebody was like, so you just get on live to laugh at the comments? Like, girl, get a life, right? So you guys remember in last week's reunion when Marcel, and Maurice, they were all having that conversation, right, about who actually met Arian and who didn't, right? Now, once again, I don't know how she got on her feelings about this shit, but she got on her feelings. She came at Maurice, she came at Letitia, and she came at Marceau, right? Letitia didn't say shit about you. She didn't say nothing about you. All she had an issue with the fact that Marceau was still in your presence, knowing that you and Martel had something going on. Marceau admitted that y'all were in Atlanta and that y'all, you came to the club. Now, Arian said that she was invited to the club. Do I believe that? 1000% I believe that Martel invited that peasant, what he calls her, the peasant, down to the bar, right? So somehow Marceau posted a picture on Instagram of them in Atlanta. Arian was the one that was taking the photo, right? And so she and Martel were in the comment section, right? I do know that Marceau went and deleted her comment and his comment. So then she went on this long ass tirade. She posted pictures. She posted all kind of stuff in her Insta stories. She went live. We gonna spare Marceau. We gonna leave Marceau for YouTube. Let me tell you a little secret, Miss Curry. Don't nobody give one fuck what you got to say. And then my thing with her is, why are we giving her any, well, and I'm doing it right. Well, actually, no, what I want to say is, how do we know that what she's saying are actually valid things, right? Because she said at one point that, I don't know if she was saying Maurice and Marceau was having sex with two girls in a room. I don't know who she was saying had sex in the same room with two girls. But that happened. She just went on a whole tangent. Then I guess someone must have DM'd her saying that they know for a fact that Marceau is cheating on Tisha with their friend, and they trying to get the friend to come out, but the friend is so in love with Marceau, and that the friend is afraid to come out because of God knows what reason she's afraid to come out. But she said that, I'm just like, oh my God. Then last night, before the reunion even aired, whoo, so y'all know Melody has her song. She released her new song, Side Chick of the Year award, right? She released that. And what else? Martel. So when I went out to eat last night with my cousins, and my cousins, and I was on Instagram, right? And I saw this picture. When I logged into Instagram, Martell was literally the first person that was on my timeline. And I looked at this picture. I'm like, oh, okay. So I saw the picture. I'm like, oh, he got his kids. And I was like, oh, your kids. I'm like, one thing I will say about Martell, those kids, he couldn't deny them kids if he wanted to, because they all look alike and they all have his face. Even the one that I call Lil Mel, I call her Lil Mel because she acts like Mel, but Milani, is that the baby's name? Is that the Milani? I think that's her name, right? She looks like they all literally look just like that man. So you definitely couldn't deny these kids. And I was looking, right? Cause so what I saw little Martell in the back, right? I saw Mariah, and I saw the other baby, right? And then I saw the one that he was holding in his lap. I was like, oh, he only got his 4 kids in his lap. I'm like, I wonder how does Coleslaw feel about that? And somebody was like, that's the baby that he's holding. I was like, I know you lying. And then I looked down. I said, oh, I missed Little Mel. I'm like, I did not see Little Mel at all. But damn, them kids look alike. We gonna talk about that. We actually gonna talk about that too. Those kids look alike. They look so much like he marks his kids, right? Beautiful kids, right? Beautiful kids. Ooh. Is that why Mel released she released Side Chick of the Year award earlier in the day, and he brought that picture out just before the reunion. Jesus be offense. It's a mess. Then I saw a picture of Marcel and Tisha. They were at some kind of a sporting event. I don't know if they were at a baseball game or what. He had his arms wrapped around. I'm like, oh, we been petty today. Carlos, are you filming this shit? Like, let's get them cameras up and rolling. Cause if you thought this season was something, season 4 is gonna be some shit. Season 4 is gonna be some shit. I'm still stuck on one thing. And what really pissed me off with Arian was the fact that she brought up Kimmy in one of those messages, right? Because she said that she had texted Martell at one point and asked him, what does Kimmy look like? Because I'm guessing what she's trying to say is she saw Maurice with another woman that wasn't Kimmy. Arian, and then here's the thing that threw me with Arian is the fact that she talks about that they use her for ratings every Saturday night. Girl, what? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We are not going to play that game. We are not going to play that game. We are not going to sit here and pretend as if you don't run your ass to social media damn near after every episode. Like, girl, go to hell and miss me with that shit. But with that out the way, you guys, we are now going to get into the reunion talk, shall we? All right, guys. So the reunion, we kind of picked up where we left off. You guys remember that Marceau and Lewis were having a conversation, right? Suffice it to say, Marceau ain't gonna listen to shit that comes out of Lewis's mouth, despite the fact that Lewis say, yes, he was married before. He's been around people who have had a successful marriage. He ain't listening to it, right? So they take a break, and at that point, that's when Carlos, trying to get these names together. Carlos told the men, hey, you guys take a break. It's just gonna be the ladies. So we start up with the ladies, right? We start up with Tiffany and Destiny, and they show the package of Tiffany and Destiny, right? And we all know the history with Tiffany and Destiny this season. So we talk about the situation with Tiffany and Destiny, right? And Carlos asked Destiny about Tiffany bringing that tea to her party, right? And she was like, it wasn't. And I'm gonna say what I said then, and I'm gonna keep saying it. That wasn't the time or the place to bring that up, right? Especially if you're trying to get someone to remember who you are. That's not a great way to say, oh my God, now I know how I remember you. Oh my God, it just hit me in the brain. So you remember you had a party a few years ago, right? And I came to your party with Mel. Speaking of which, Mel, I just thought about this. You said in last week's part 2 of the reunion that you only knew Tiffany in a business setting, but going by this timeline, which I said on the show, you and her went to a party together. So you go to one of your friends' parties with someone that you just know as a business acquaintance. That's not something that I do, but maybe it is. Who knows? But so you're saying, so here's my thing, and I'm going back to what I was just saying before I thought about that. If you want someone to remember you, that's not something positive to remember you by. Be like, oh my, like, if you had a funny story, it's like, oh my God, I remember how I met you. We were at this party and, we were having a good time. I had a drink in my hand and I accidentally spilled the drink on you. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Something like that. Or, oh, I stepped, I accidentally stepped in your shoe and that's how we first met each other. Something like that, but not saying, your husband was at a party with another woman and I liked what she had on and I thought you were that woman. That's getting some shit started and that's been shady as fuck and that's been messy as fuck. And Carlos asked, Destiny, does she think that Tiffany is messy? She said, hell yeah. And Carlos asked Tiffany, how does she feel about that? She says, well, that's her opinion, but it does, I hate to hear it. Ma'am, if the Payless shoe fits, wear that motherfucker. So then, Carlos was talking to Melody, right? Because, they talked about the fact that it took a while for him to get over it, right? So Destiny says she never really got over it because she never had a point to address it and hash it out. The first time she really had time to talk to Tiffany about it was at Taco Tuesday at Mel's house. But see, even then at Taco Tuesday, Mel brought it up, but it was causing contention between Tiffany and Destiny and Mel, right? And that was because Mel was just jumping her ass into the situation, right? And then Destiny says that she never felt like she got a sincere apology from Tiffany because Tiffany said to her, if I hurt your feelings or something like that, then I apologize. And Destiny says, that's not what I consider an apology. You don't say if. If is not, when you put if or but in an apology, that negates it. So then, Tiffany feels that Destiny is judgmental of her. And I was like, what is she judging? There's nothing to judge because we don't know anything about you. Like, please go to hell. So then, we moved over to Destiny and Mel, right? And the fact that Destiny and Mel have not talked since filming Wrapped. And Carlos says, well, is that true, Mel? She says, yes. When it comes to Love and Marriage Huntsville, once filming is over, I decompress and I just move on. And I just don't talk to people. Now, see, Mel, I think you were looking for something in this scene because Tisha was over there in that. I just thought about something that I forgot to mention. So let's run back to Miss Arian. I might not like that. I might not see it for that girl, but when she said that Tisha's sitting up there looking like a traffic cone with a synthetic wig on, I died. I was like, not a traffic cone with a synthetic wig. Because I can't unsee it now. But Tisha really didn't make a face. When now it could have been the editing, but from what I saw, Tisha didn't make a face and Mel felt some type of way about that, right? So Carlos like, what was that face you just made? She says, I didn't make a face. Mel said, yes, she did. She says, no, I didn't. And so they went back and forth. But she said, what it is I think that that's an excuse. Because Mel said that when we had our issue, then they go, I'm like, oh my God, we are regressing back to Melody and Tisha going at it. And I don't want to deal with that at all, right? So she feels that with Mel, when things are good with Mel, she feels that when things are not good with Mel, actually, Mel is, there, you're supporting her and whatnot. But when Mel got her shit together, Mel ain't got nothing for you. Mel don't have nothing for you. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. It's an interesting point that she made, but I don't know if I necessarily believe it. I do think it's kind of odd though that when you guys are filming, she's talking to you guys, but outside of filming, she's not talking to you guys. And you guys all had a friendship before this show came about. So it's just a little interesting to me, right? Just a little interesting to me. So I'm gonna pause here and we're gonna move forward. And damn, I'm already at 15 minutes. This is gonna be a long ass review. All right, guys. So next up, we come back and we are talking to Kimmy and Tisha, right? So we're rehashing the situation between Kimmy and Tisha, and the one thing that I can say about this situation is that Tisha is a needy ass friend. Like, she is needy, and I could never be friends with someone like a Tisha. And Carlos asked Kimmy that question: if you guys were not married to the Scott brothers, would you guys be friends with each other? And Kimmy said no, and Tisha got in her feelings about that. And I'm like, Tisha, just look at how you portrayed yourself on this show. Would you be friends with yourself? And she was like, because I just don't have the energy for that. And I absolutely got what she meant. Tisha is draining. And then we talk about the fact that, what is the issue between their, what came in, what was the issue in their relationship, right? We all know what the issue is. We know that the issue is the fact that when Tisha and Mel had their issues, and the fact that Kimmy did not ostracize Mel, she was still cool with Mel, Tisha didn't like that. And that's really what it is. And then we talk about Wanda and her curls, and the fact that Wanda is the one that has spearheaded all this shit. Talking about Kimmy is a snake, Kimmy is this, Kimmy is that, Kimmy. It's always Kimmy. You can never, and it's like they can never take accountability for the things that Letitia has done. And that's what my issue is, right? Like, the issue really was about the fact that at their first reunion, when Kimmy said that they were talking about Mel, which y'all were. Y'all called her bougie. It was on camera. And that was my thing with Tisha. It was on fucking camera, girl. Just own up to the shit. And that is the issue that I have with pretty much everyone on that stage. They don't take ownership and accountability for the things that they've said and that they have done. Because Tisha said, well, Mel has come at my marriage a lot. And Mel says, I did not come at your marriage, Letitia. Mel, yes, you have. Well, actually, she says I never came at you, but coming at her marriage is by an extension you coming at her, telling her to pull up to the bar to see who her husband is talking to. Yes, you've made your little digs at Letitia. So let's not sit here and play like you haven't, Mel. Like, let's not play. You've done it, but you guys have both done it to each other. So Kimmy says, I always defend Tisha. Like, when her and Mel were having their issues, you guys didn't show it on camera on a show, but I had a conversation with Mel and with Tisha, and Mel says she did. And Tisha was like, well, I've always defended you too. And she was like, when did you defend me, Tisha? Then this fool gonna sit here and talk about a bachelorette party. I'm like, the fuck they gotta do with you defending her? Like I said, Tisha's a needy ass person, and I just couldn't be friends with that woman. So they went into break, right? And they are still at this point arguing with one another. And I was just like, oh my God, we're still arguing? Actually, Kimmy and Tisha were arguing. Then Kimmy was like, you know what, I'm done. Then Mel and Tisha started arguing. I'm like, oh my God, we're going in circles. And it ain't looking good. All right, you guys, so I'm going to pause here. And we're gonna move forward. So we had Miss Vanessa and Wanda and her curls join the reunion, right? So Carlos asked Miss Vanessa, how was it for her watching this season and seeing the way that Martell was treating Melody, right? So Miss Vanessa was like, it was just kind of hard for her watching this season, right? Because, she's been one to root for and champion for, Melody and Martell. She was hopeful for them, right? But, she feels that Melody made the best choice for herself, and she is 100% supportive of her daughter. So then, somehow they had a little bit of an argument, right? Not Miss Vanessa, but Melody and Martell argued because at one point, Miss Vanessa said, the kids talk about what daddy does, right? And he was like, but that's because of what Mel says. Martell, I have not said anything to the kids. So then we find out that Melody and the kids went out somewhere, right? So they pulled up to a restaurant, and the kids saw Martell with Arian and the new baby, right? And she says that Mariah was like, yelling out the window to get away from my daddy, get away from my daddy, right? And Mel says at that point, she still has not told the kids about the other baby, right? She hadn't told him anything. And I respect that. Like, that's not, that, I believe that that's not Mel's place, right? That is Martell's place to tell the kids about Arian, the new baby. That's his place. Now, Mel definitely should be there to have, to facilitate the conversation between them because those are their kids, right? But as far as her being the one to tell the kids, no. Has he told the kids? Now, from that point, from the point of the reunion, I don't think he had told the kids yet. And Carlos was like, but your situation is different because it's on television and you might want to go ahead and tell the kids, right? So where are we at now? So then we talk about, we move over and we're talking to Miss Vanessa about Wanda and her curls, right? And Miss Vanessa says that she believes that Wanda and her curls just say stuff to hear herself talking. I was like, absolutely. Wanda says shit for the fuck of it, right? Like, y'all remember that Wanda and her curls told Arian how cute she was. Y'all remember Wanda and her curls was telling, the side chicks to get what the wife is getting, right? But then when the girl drug your daughter into the shit last Saturday or Sunday, you want to come at her sideways. But once you're a pretty little thing, okay, Wanda. You only was giving her compliments to stick it to Mel. But when she drags your daughter into it, that's when you got something to say. I see you. Wanda and her curls have the audacity to sit there and ask Miss Vanessa, do you think that Mel is going to listen to you? Ma'am, that is her mother. I would listen to my mother over a stranger that I'm not even, that's of no relation to me. So then she was telling her something about like, maybe you should teach her what to do. She was hinting to this alleged sex tape that Miss Vanessa has. Marceau finally clears it up saying, he says he never saw a sex tape, but he heard about a sex tape, right? So then Martell is saying that, Miss Vanessa and their brother Mark had a relationship with each other. And Miss Vanessa says, we never had a relationship. We were friends with each other. He says, but you drove up there to 5 hours to see him. And Mel was like, and he came down here to see her as well. So what are you talking about? And here's my thing with that. You want to talk about her driving 5 hours to see someone. If she wants to do that, that is her business and that is her prerogative. She is a grown woman and she is a single woman. So you need to do me a favor and shut the and fuck up, right? So after that, we move on and we talk about Kimmy, Tisha, and Wanda and her curls, right? With this one, I would prefer. Here's something that now I've been giving Carlos his kudos, right? But this is one part that I really wish we had a dug deeper into, guys, because you guys remember earlier in the season when Wanda and Kimmy had that interaction with each other, and Wanda went back to Tisha telling her that Kimmy told her to shut the fuck up. We didn't even address that, the fact that Wanda sat there and lied in Letitia's face. But hey, I'm on Kimmy's side, and that's really all I gotta say is I'm on Kimmy's side. Wanda goes and goes and goes. She's like the Energizer Bunny, right? She keeps going and going and going and going. But at some point, you got to take a baseball bat or a hammer and say, bam, enough's enough, bitch. Like, I'm tired of you talking shit. I'm not calling Miss Wanda a bitch. I'm talking about the Energizer Bunny. Like, at a certain point, you got to be like, okay, look here. You got to stop. I'm tired of you going and going and going. Like, you take the battery out and it probably keeps going. So you got to be like, okay, let me get this hammer and wham, knock the shit out of the motherfucker, right? So I'm cool with Kimmy, addressing Wanda and whatnot, because she's going to keep going regardless. I mean, she's going to go regardless, but at some point you got to put your foot down and be like, hey, lady, you got to stop fucking with me. You got to stop fucking with me. I ain't done shit to you, but you keep trying me. you mean you're gonna have a big problem, right? So where we at? Now, Tisha says that she does check her mom. Do you do it on camera though? And it's an easy way to check your mama, right? You ain't gotta cuss your mama out. You ain't gotta do none of that. You can be like, Mama, that ain't got nothing to do with you. Leave it alone. Now she did say she checked her mom about the situation with Miss Vanessa, right? And Mel said, yeah, she actually did do that, right? Um, that's really the end of the reunion, actually. I'm gonna repeat it one more time. When it comes to the likes of a Letitia, I just feel like it takes a lot to be a friends with her, and I would just never want to be friends with the likes of a Letitia Scott. Cause she just from what we see on this show is just draining. She requires so much. She is, and I think actually I don't think I believe I don't think anything. The reason that Letitia is so needy is because of the fact that, like she said plenty of times before, that Wanda didn't tell her that she loved her. That Wanda presented her with gifts. So Tisha lacks that emotional side, and she requires that from her friends, and it's a lot. It's overbearing. It is just too much, right? If I tell you I'm your friend and I love you, believe me, I don't want to have to jump through hoops and hurdles to prove to you my loyalty, my love, my anything to you. But that's the end of the reunion. Carlos let it be known that we are coming back for a season 4. They drink some chocolate in a bottle. That just, I mean, literally, that sounds nasty. To me, personally, it sounds nasty to me. Actually, no, so yeah. Oh, it was Dineva who posted that they sent him a bottle. I would have told him to keep it. I'm sorry. I just don't think that sounds good. Because when you think about chocolate, chocolate has that bitter taste, and then you mixing that with a champagne. No, thank you. But that's the reunion, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Please leave your comments in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell button so you guys are notified on when I drop anything else. Share the video, you guys, and into the next one. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.